But yeah, I'm just going to give you the full breakdown in terms of performance. This is nothing to do with individual effort, and it's only based on team performance. Again, let's start with the Mercedes. I think it's only fair that we put Mercedes where they've been for the last week in the Supreme Column. I think the Mercedes team, they continue to dominate not only qualifying but racing. And with Kimi Antonelli securing his first Formula One victory, obviously, that was the highlight of the weekend as well. But in terms of team performance, again, Mercedes dominating qualifying, the sprint, and the race weekend. It just continues to. It's just an amazing display that the Mercedes team have been able to show with with a level of technical superior package. And I don't think there will be any team that will be able to challenge the Mercedes throughout the entire season. I think we're starting to see like the Mercedes are actually running away with the championship so early in the season. Antonelli obviously lost the lead to Lewis Hamilton in initial start of the race, but this is expected, and I predict that the Ferraris will continue to dominate. The race starts. They obviously have something underneath their sleeves. I think this is the most powerful weapon that they have at their disposal at the moment. But yeah, Antonelli lost the lead, but he was able to gain the lead back again. And completely domination from the Mercedes team. They were able to stack both cars again with minimum time wasted under the virtual safety car. Um, Obviously, the Mercedes, I don't think they're making as many errors as the Ferraris have done last week. And obviously, Mercedes again, like I think they have the supreme package. Overall, it's not just an amazing power unit that is able to accelerate in straight lines. They have good drivers, obviously not the best drivers on the grid, in my opinion. But in terms of package, I think they have a supreme package that will that shows that Mercedes are a team of authority, a team that commanding respect and dominance throughout the entire um, race weekend. It's not just race pace; it's qualifying pace as well as free practice sessions and whatever else is there for them to participate. They just dominate, and the fact that Antonelli is able to compete with the likes of the veteran number one driver Mercedes, George Russell, it's amazing. It just means the car it's performing well. It's the power unit, it's the chassis, it's the engineers, it's the ability to have good energy deployment throughout the entire lap. So Mercedes supreme. I don't think that's even a contest at this stage, and I don't think there's any other team that came close to being able to fight the Mercedes on the long run. Um, Next, I think Ferraris. I think they continue to do amazing. I think the Ferraris are the next best team. We obviously saw Lewis Hamilton claiming his first podium for Ferrari. Does that mean the Ferraris are back? Does that mean Lewis Hamilton is back? That is $1 million question. I just hope both are true for the sake of entertainment, and let's hope that Lewis Hamilton is able to claim his 8th title that he so desperately wants, or he deserves, I think. Um, Hamilton, obviously, first podium. I think is a symbolic milestone for him, considering that you know the the frustrating season that he had last year. I think it was terrible. It's one of the worst seasons for Lewis Hamilton in his entire career within Formula One. So I think this is a symbolic milestone for him. Obviously, the Ferraris having to um, have a great fight between the two drivers. I think where they some of the things that I think I've noticed that went wrong was the fight that they had between the two. And obviously, at the time, Russell being in P4, I think the fight between the two suppressed the lap times from the Ferraris, which basically allowed George Russell to catch up and eventually overtake both of Ferraris and distance themselves from the Ferraris. Yeah, there was no a strategy conflict. There was no team orders from the Ferraris, and I think this is again. I think this is costing Ferrari a lot. If they're gonna have any time, um, if they're gonna have fighting for the championship, I think their best effort is to trying to split the Mercedes. I think having an internal fight or civil war between the two drivers for entertaining purpose, that is amazing. But for you to fight for construction world championship, or fighting for the championship world title, I think a strategy needs to come in place, and they need to start thinking about how they can actually split the Mercedes, because I mean, they put up a great show for the initial 10-15 laps, but after that, the Mercedes are just too good, and there's no way that you can actually be able to catch them up unless you try to use a strategy where you just leave one of the drivers out and try. Hopefully, the Mercedes, when they come out of the pit, they will get stuck in traffic when they catch up with one of the Ferrari drivers. That's one of the strategies that I'm hoping that the Ferrari will be able to implement. Um, but yeah, that was a great fight. If you didn't see the race, I suggest you go and watch the highlights. That was an amazing fight between Lewis Hamilton and Leclerc. A clean fight. There was nothing nasty or mean from either of the drivers. They were able to, give respect and give plenty of space to both drivers to tackle overtakes. Obviously, the cars being much narrower this season allows for that type of fight to happen. But yeah, I think they lost a lot of time fighting between the two, and obviously George Russell was able to capitalize on that. Outside of that, I didn't think Ferraris made any other major mistake. Probably that was the only major mistake that they made, which allowed the fight to continue between the two drivers for too long. But yeah, that was probably cost them a higher position. But I think the Ferraris being on the podium, I think they will consider this a win. Locking P3 and P4, they consider this a win. I still think they should aim for a bit higher, trying to split the Ferraris. But then it's just me being optimistic for the sake of the Formula One season. Um, where do I put the Haas? Where do I put the Haas? Honestly, I think I'm gonna have to go with amazing. Um, I think Haas is the best of the rest so far. Oliver Behrman is one of those drivers that has been consistently. He impressed me the most throughout the preseason testing, and is one of those drivers that he's been able to capitalize on the mistakes that other teams are making. Um, they either make mistakes on the track, or there's reliability issues with the car, and obviously they're not able to race during the week. And specifically Oliver Behrman, has been able to capitalize on that. And my prediction is that if the reliability issues continue at this rate, I predict Haas to have a podium, one or two podiums this season. Yeah, Oliver Behrman continues to over deliver, capitalizes on the chaos of the front runners, and obviously the failure from the big teams, especially the McLarens and the Red Bulls. Yeah, I think has impressed me a lot this season. The Racing Bulls, oh God, where do I put not the Racing Bulls? Sorry, my mistake. The Red Bulls. Um, I think the Red Bulls this season. I shouldn't mention this season, but I think overall, I think they've been poor. But this week, I think they've also been poor. Obviously, P8 um, and DNF um, for Hazek Kaija and Verstappen, respectively. I think is the expectations for Red Bull, a team as big as Red Bull, I think the expectation is always to fight for world championships every single year, and I don't think they will be able to do that this year. I think the reliability issues is one of those things that you ask, is it something to do with the new regulations, or is it this something to do with the power unit developed by the Red Bull? Um, there was reliability issues last week with Hazik Hajar having to retire. Then there was Max having to retire this time around. Obviously, Red Bulls are not the only team who are facing reliability issues at the moment, but obviously there's so many variables that you can ask what is actually going wrong with the Red Bulls at the moment. Obviously, there was key heads that left the team last year. You also have the power unit developed by them, which was a program that was initially started by people who are no longer at the Red Bull, and now they are in the hands of new team members. There's that, and there's possibly other variables. We don't know what is the internal issues with the Red Bull, but it seems like they have an internal issue, and Max is not even happy with anything at the moment. He's not happy with the new regulations. He's not happy with the car. He's not happy with how the season has started for him. And the Red Bulls are not doing great at the moment. And at this rate, they're not going to finish on a podium. That's another wild predictions for me, but I hope it's not the case. Moving on, the McLarens. Another sad story. I think the McLarens were a disaster. It's my honestly opinion at this stage. Is my it's actually my team that I'm supporting this year. I've been supporting for many years, but I honestly would like to rank them slightly higher. I have my bias, but I have to be honest. In the McLarens, two DNSs for identical electrical failures on the grid. They were not even able to start the race, and Oscar Piastri technically hasn't really raced since the season has started. He was able to complete the sprint, finish P4, but when it comes to the race day, he hasn't completed a single lap. And this is the sad. This is so sad because we see Oscar Piastri, we see Lando Norris, we see the likes of Max Verstappen, who were the drivers who were able to fight for the championship all the way to the last race last year, and they are nowhere to be seen in terms of fighting for championship this year around. And it's sad, and it begs the question: is this are the new regulations affecting racing? Is this affecting the sport in general? Because I don't remember the last time I've seen so many DNFs or DNSs in a single race. There was technically, if I'm not mistaken, there was 4 cars that were not able to start the race due to technical issues. I'm going slightly off track here. McLarens in general, I think, they had a week to forget. Sprint, P4, P6, I think it was P5 and P6. They're not doing great either. I just think the reliability, it's the new performance standards. The less reliability issues you have this season, the more likely you'll be able to fight for championships and just collect points in general. I think you as a team, you have to be very wise in trying to capitalize. Capitalize is a keyword, because if you have reliability issues, there's no way that you can capitalize. But if you a team like Haas and you don't have the best engine, not the best car on the grids, but you don't have reliability issues, then eventually you will be able to capitalize. I think that's exactly what I'm trying to say. What's the next team in line? The Alpines. I want to give good credit to Alpines, and I'm not so sure if I'm actually going to rank them pretty high. I think the Alpines, I think this is the first time in history, not the first time in history, but the first time probably in the last 2 years where the Alpine both Alpine drivers were um, within the points. They were able to collect points. Obviously, Colapinto failed to collect any point last season. Pierre Gasly, carried the Alpine team on his back, collecting 100% of the points last season. This time around, I think was also worth mentioning, giving credit to Colapinto. I think he had an amazing race. Obviously, made a mistake and cost him a bit of time. I think he could probably get finish P6 or P8. But even though he made a mistake, he was able to collect his first point in a while for the Alpines. And Alpines, I think in general, both drivers collecting points again. Reliability issues, they were both able to capitalize on the mistakes from other teams. And Colapinto, Pierre Gasly showing consistency. Colapinto showing resilience. And I think they're doing well. Again, I'm expecting more from Alpine as well because being a customer engine, having the same power unit as the Mercedes, everyone expecting all those customers that have this Mercedes engine to show the same pace as Mercedes. But the reality is, we're not going to see none of that unless they find ways to exploit or to maximize the true potential of that engine. And it seems like Mercedes are the only team who are able to do that at the moment. Racing Bulls, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I just think they are a team who don't have high expectations. They are expected to be in a midfield, collecting solid points, not every weekend. There's nothing much to say about their performance. Obviously, Lawson being able to collect points this weekend. Lindblad just outside of the points. I didn't. The media. I was going to say I didn't see much from neither of the drivers, but I guess this is something to do with the media. If there was no interesting fights happening during the race, they probably won't show it. But there was. I can't pinpoint any specific highlights between of the two drivers. I think they both went off track at some point. Lindblad tried to go for one pit strategy on the hard tires. I don't know if that really worked, but I think they did okay. Williams again. I don't know. Slightly divided between this one. But I think Williams did okay. I think they collected their first points for the season. They haven't had a great pre-season testing this year. They obviously failed the Barcelona shakedown testing completely. And they're obviously behind in terms of the tests that they were initially wanted to do. The first solid points being collected by Carlos Sainz. Alex Albon, another retirement, unfortunately. But seems like is the new trend of this season. Is this something due to the new regulations? Again, I keep bringing this up, but I think it's worth stressing this enough because these are the most intensive or the biggest regulations Formula One has seen, and it just shows that any team is not immune to reliability issues. We've seen the likes of Mercedes. Mercedes had the reliability issues with George Russell's in qualifying in Q3. Eventually, the engineers were able to fix the issues and get the car back on track for him to qualify in P2. But again, reliability issues. I think most teams on the grid so far have encountered some sort of reliability or technical issues with hydraulics, of tire pressure, or gearbox management. But that is the reality. These regulations are just are becoming a pain in the ass. Excuse my French, for all of the teams to deal with. And in general, I think Williams did well. Um, there's nothing else to say except there was a retirement from Albon, and yeah, the solid points collected by Carlos Sainz, who's also a very um, consistent driver, and he's been able to improve team's performance. And whoever team he joins, he has always been able to help them reach new heights. So well done to Sainz, well done to Williams. But yeah, I think they did okay. Nothing spectacular from them. The Audis, unfortunately, I just um, have to put them on a poor column because poor raw. I don't think again reliability issues again with Bortoleto not being able to start the race. Hulkenberg was in P10 at one point. Was in within the was able was in within the points range, but I think in the last 20, 15, 10 laps or so, the tires just gave up on him, and he was extremely under pressure from Colapinto and Carlos Sainz, and eventually he had to give up the position. He couldn't fight anymore. Tire degradation is extremely high in China. The likes of the Ferraris and Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, they suffer that a lot, defending or fighting one another. Um, but yeah, the Audi completely outside of the points this week. Reliability issues, um, and yeah, I don't know. Moving on to Cadillac. Cadillac, Cadillac is an interesting one. Even though they finished last, um, I think I'm gonna have to give them credit because both cars they actually were able to finish the race. Last weekend, they had to retire both cars, reliability issues. Again, this time around, they are able to finish both cars, to finish the race with both cars. Again, for Cadillac, an American team joining Formula One this year, their expectations for them is not that high. In fact, they will be fighting for to stay out of P11. They will be fighting for P10 and P9 positions. If they manage to get into P9, I'll be very surprised. But yeah, if you consider that they've been having a lot of issues throughout the entire winter preseason testing, and they've been the slowest car on the grid so far. They've managed to finish both cars. I think there's pretty good signs of improvements from the Cadillacs, but they need to stop losing car parts throughout the race. Every week they seem to lose. It's either a tire, it's either a rear wing, or the wind. What's it called? What do you call them? The mirrors, the side mirrors. They always lose something on a track, and for some reason, sometimes that causes a virtual safety car to be deployed and slow down the race for some reason. Last but not least, we have the Aston Martins. Where should I put the Aston Martins? I think the Aston Martins are improving. I don't think they were a disaster this time around, even though both cars, they had to retire both cars. Alonso obviously had to retire because there was some sort of vibrations coming from the engines. This is a known issue at the moment. And this type of vibration obviously causes some sort of nerve damage on the hands, and there was one point where Alonso literally, while he was driving the car, he had to let go of the steering wheel because of the vibrations are so high that it hurts your hands. So eventually he had enough, and yeah, he had to stop the car for that reason. If it wasn't for that, probably he would be able to finish the race. But again, the Aston Martins were not able to complete. They were not even able to race last weekend, and the fact that they were able to race this weekend, I think it's only fair that we give them credit. And I think I'm gonna put them on poor, maybe okay. Yeah. a team as a dimension of the team as Aston Martin, I think their expectations are extremely high. Eventually, when they get the engine, the vibration induced with the Honda power unit, eventually they will be fighting for. They will be leading. This is my expectation. They will be leading the midfield pack. But yeah, I think the Aston Martins did slightly better than they did last week. But they still continue to be poor for a team of the size of Aston Martin. They have a lot of funding that can easily be used for anything that they wish. But Formula One is one of those sports. It's not one of those sports where you just can throw money at anything and all of the issues will be sorted. Unfortunately, Formula One doesn't work like that. Life in general probably might work like that, but in Formula One, that's not the case. And Stroll, the billionaire who owns Aston Martin, I'm pretty sure he will agree with me on that one. So yeah, I think Aston Martin overall, they're not the worst team in terms of performance. And they are improving every weekend. They're showing signs of improvement, and I hope by mid-season they will be able to collect points week in week out. But yeah, that was my ranking. Let me know if you disagree or agree with the list. I would like to know what's your list look like. But if you watch the race like I did, this is the conclusions that I made. Obviously, this is only biased, and I'm not a professional by any means. I'm only a Formula One fan like most of you are. Until the next video, take care.